How's it going? And welcome back to a very special video. Now, it's very rare for me to, get in game and record gameplay. I usually pre-record it, but this time I've got something special to show you. I've been working on this video now for a couple of weeks, I would say, quite a long time. And basically, I've been working hard to transform Fallout 4 in 2025 into Fallout 3. That's right, and as you can see here is our lovely, wonderful dog meat from Fallout 3. So as you can see here, I have the Raider's armor from Fallout 3, and oh, what's that on my wrist, and why is it glowing so beautifully green? The Fallout 3 tinge, and why do the graphics look good? So many questions, and today I'm going to give you the answer, because if you're like me and you're a massive Fallout fan and you want to blend aspects of Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3 into Fallout 4 in 2025, then this video is for you. So this is how I transformed Fallout 4 into Fallout 3 in 2025 with Fallout 4 mods. So let's first take a look. As you can see here, I am wearing the Pip-Boy from Fallout 3. It is the original model. The only problem with this mod is it doesn't load in holotapes, but that's fine. I really do love the look of this, and you can customize it and tweak it to have any style you want, if you want it to be like a Vault-Tec style or anything like that. So we're going to talk about all of the different mods today that I use, and then at the end of the video I will show you the actual mod list so you can follow along. So this is a disgusting little mole rat. This is a mole rat from Fallout 4. I'm not really that happy with the design of the Fallout 4 creatures and just the aesthetics in general. And as you can see here, I'm using an original Fallout 3 10mm, but I can customize it. I've bronzed it, I've given it some glow sights, and a little bayonetta. So hopefully we can come across some Fallout 3 enemies later on in this video. I've also redesigned the ghouls and super mutants. I've got the metro tunnels fully implemented, so it's literally two maps on top of one. The metro systems literally work in tandem with the map on top, so you can travel the whole Commonwealth just by using the metro systems, which is very reminiscent of Fallout 3. I do hope you enjoy this modded Fallout 4 2025 video, and I'm going to show you all of the best 2025 Fallout 4 mods to use and to transform Fallout 4 into Fallout 3. So I'm going to do two separate videos, one talking about my full mod list, and then this video, how I transformed Fallout 4 in 2025 into Fallout 3. So first things that you probably are noticing is the weather effects and the fact that it looks very, very bleak. Because in my opinion, that's how Fallout should be. I really hate what happened with Fallout 4. I really disliked what they did with Fallout 4 and how they made it all vibrant and happy. It went everything against the Fallout tone and the whole point of Fallout. So I've returned it to, match the styles of Fallout 3, New Vegas, and the original Fallout games. So I'm actually using 3 different texture mods at the moment. So you might see some levels where it kind of mixes in together, but for the most part it adds a really nice, good effect. So first I'm using Vivid Fallout as a base, so you get rubble piles like this that look very detailed. Oh no, I'm using 4 texture packs, sorry, or 5 technically. Then I use natural landscapes, which look really good, I've got to be honest. I've also added darker roads, as you can see, which has got like this kind of cracked effect similar to the original Fallout games 1 and 2. It just makes it look much more Fallout if you ask me, and I'll talk about the weather mods later. And also as a base, I've used the high texture pack from the Bethesda team. Yes, I know, very surprising. I'm actually recommending using that. This is only if you've got a modern computer, okay? So I haven't got like the highest rig, but I'm pretty happy with it. I've got a RTX 4070 with an i9, and having a good CPU is important, but it is a laptop, so do bear that in mind. But basically, if you have at least 8GB of RAM, I recommend using the Bethesda's texture pack, because it does actually improve most of the, you know, base textures for animals and stuff like that, guns and everything like that, and then layer the mods like I will show you at the end of the video. Yeah, so I'm gonna go over all of the mods at the end of the video, but I've got tons of mods actually, you know, from Bethesda Net, because they are now working with the next gen update, and you need to make sure that what you're using on Vortex or Nexus mods works with the next gen update, because of course, classic Bethesda move, they destroy the game. And I haven't been able to play Fallout in years because I had to wait for it to be fixed and to get a new computer because it was completely broken on consoles and all that stuff. So I'm using Falcon Oil, which is another texture mod which does all of the main models in the game. Devastation, a landscape overhaul, which is what gives all of the kind of Fallout 3 and original Fallout looks with dead trees, because it shouldn't be a lush, you know, forest. I don't understand why people overhaul their games to make it look like you're walking through Skyrim when this is supposed to be Fallout, but to each their own. That's just my own personal you know, art style, which I like. You know, I love the original Fallout games and Fallout New Vegas and 3. Very zen dark roads, okay, and you can get this on the Vortex Nexus mods, okay? So I'm using, I don't know how many mods, like over 20 or 30 on Bethesda Net, and then I'm using another 20 or 30 on Vortex. And there are some conflicts and you have to like fiddle around with it to get it working, but when it does, this is the ultimate Fallout 4 2025 modded experience. So just to show off some textures here, okay, you can have a look at this very rusted out looking car, which in my eyes looks a hell of a lot better compared to vanilla. That's because I'm using all of these texture mods on top of each other. And then for the rocks and stuff like that, you can see how detailed they are. That's because I'm using Vivid Fallout. And the same with the trees. They are all looking very crisp and detailed. I'm using 2K textures because I have a 2K monitor. But yeah, it does look really good, I've got to be honest. And I just think the ground effects look much more realistic and just like lived in, and, you know, matching the original art style, which is what we're trying to keep in this video. I really do hope you enjoy this Fallout 4 2025 modded showcase and kind of guide, I guess you could say. I really am passionate about modding. It's just so cool. I really do think Bethesda fell off, to be honest, and I'm not really a fan of their games, but their older games are great, and that's because of the community and the fact that it's basically art. You know, it's a blank canvas, and if you have a PC, then you can just mod it to make it what you want. And I hated Fallout 4 on release, I've got to be honest. I still am not a huge fan of it, but it is the most modern Fallout game, and now finally it's actually good thanks to mods. You can add in proper RPG mechanics like karma system and faction, you know, like loyalty stuff. So if you do enjoy this Fallout 4 2025 modded guide, I do hope you subscribe to the channel. Usually I do a little face cam, but for this I just want to focus on the gameplay. If you love game reviews, philosophical content, and just video essays and all that kind of stuff, detailed analysis around gaming, make sure you do subscribe. I would appreciate you if you do become a wise one. This is just something I feel very passionate about, as I am a massive Fallout fan, and I worked really hard this last week to basically mod this to make it as close to the original Fallout games as possible, and especially Fallout 3. So as you can see here, I've got a little gun holster, because in the original games, yes, you could actually see, you know, your gun on your back. I know, wow, incredible stuff. Bethesda got pretty lazy, I guess. So you can mod that in, and like I said, I'm going to show you all the mods at the end of the video, so make sure you watch until the end.
Commonwealth right here.
Oh, okay, well, thank you. Yes, I am still using the shitty dialogue at the moment, because I'm still working on getting that working with Point Lookout and stuff. But just a big change. You know, this is walking into Concord for the first time. With the original Fallout game, it's all vibrant and bright, and ooh, we're skipping down the yellow brick road in the original Fallout 4, which is ridiculous. This is supposed to be Fallout, so this is much more atmospheric, I would say. I also gave the woman an animation overhaul because I'm a man of culture and I want my woman to be a bit more feminine. So there you go, a man of culture. So here we're gonna go, and we're just gonna walk into Concord to soak in the atmosphere. The dark roads really do make a difference, and so do the textures. As you can see, I'm wearing an NCR outfit at the moment, which isn't very Fallout 3, but like I said, I'm combining Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3 stuff But today is a showcase on how to transform Fallout 4 into Fallout 3. But so let's maybe change that into Fallout 3 costume. So here is an original Raider armor, which you might remember from Fallout 3, looking very nice and detailed in an up-to-date engine. So I really do like that. And then we're going to switch to our classic 10mm, and we're just going to head in and check out Concord, okay? But yeah, the textures really do make a big difference because this game is quite old at this point, so you do want it to look good on a new rig. And the weather system overhaul that I'm using really makes a big difference because radiation is much more deadly this time around. Damage is much more realistic. There's much more particle effects with everything. And yeah, that's all thanks to 2 weather mods I'm using. And one is kind of an ENB, but not fully an ENB because I feel like ENBs are too heavy and they don't add much. The one I'm using really changes up a lot, but it will add so many guard rays into Fallout 4. At the moment, the weather's not that crazy, but it will be. So just bear in mind if you want better performance, maybe don't use the one I'm using, but it does add the original Fallout 1 and 2 look to the game, which I think is very important. So, a big Fallout 3 feature, and we're all missing this, okay? We all know what it is. The VAT system in Fallout 4 sucks because it's all in slow motion. Well, with this mod, it actually works like the original VAT system, and that's how it should be, okay, if you ask me. So it actually freezes time, so there's no pressure. You can stop and think about your decisions, and that's the point of it being an RPG. So we're going to go in for a few headshots, and hopefully it's just going to go nice and smooth. Let's see. Beautiful. And as you can see there, her whole face kind of fell out of her... crap. She literally exploded. And also, the damage, if I can actually aim, is much more realistic. Enemies and stuff like that will just go down in a few hits now. And see, there's no more slow motion bullshit. It just stops time, how that should be. And then you can think about your decisions and what you're going to use and the tactical nature of it all. But yeah, I've overhauled the combat so it's much more immersive because Fallout 4 had so many bullet sponge enemies, which I really don't like because that's just not a fun way of engaging with combat. They had all of these unique animations and attack patterns with the creatures, which they did with Fallout 4, which is much better in my opinion compared to the previous Fallout games, but they just didn't utilize it properly and they just relied on spongy enemies. But now you don't have to worry about that. I've also got this mod. This mod also changes crippled limbs and stuff, so there's a chance of dismemberment basically, and also with the mod live dismemberment, I think it's called, I've also got that, which basically means enemies can still survive and basically, hobble around, which is pretty grotesque. So I probably can't show that, but it's pretty cool. One shot and another one. There you go. So the gore overhaul that I'm using is called Jibs of Glory, and basically that just adds much more of that original flavor from Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. So when you pop heads and limbs, it will be quite grotesque, as it should be. That's what made the original Fallout games so fun. And the overhaul that I'm using for the trees and kind of deadness and some, it's mixed in. So you will get some blackened trees and some trees will look kind of not alive per se, but a little bit more lush. But it will have that combination of kind of more blackened dead trees, kind of scorched trees, and then slightly more alive and very detailed trees from Vivid Fallout. And as you can see, right now I'm in a radiation storm. So here's a nice example of the guard rays in full effect. Recording this and playing this is making my PC kind of explode. But as you can see, there are literally, I know Todd Howard is a massive fan of guard rays coming out of his ass, it seems. But yeah, Morbid World just adds literally like too many god rays, to be honest. It comes through literally every single branch, every single crack, but it does make the game look absolutely beautiful, and it does also give Fallout 4 this, you know, just depressing atmosphere, and that's what you should have in a post-apocalyptic Fallout game. So it really does make a difference, the kind of lighting overhaul, and that's why I said it is kind of doing the same effect as an ENB, but you don't get all of the custom tweaks, which is nice because I just want that classic Fallout vibe. And you can see how much the textures just make like a big difference, from the rocks to the shadows, with the lighting, with Morbund World, which does add that original art style, like I said, from the original Fallout games. And then just the texture overhaul, having classic Dogmeat here with the original Fallout roads, wearing my Fallout 3 armor with my Pip-Boy. That all makes a big difference. And if you want more RPG mechanics like the original Fallout games, like I said, now you can do that. Finally, you can mod it into a classic Fallout RPG for the most part, with Karma system and the faction overhaul system. I'm just such a massive Fallout fan, and you know, Fallout 4 just never hit it for me. And it's been so long, and I'm not waiting for Bethesda anymore. We can't trust them. I don't know if they're ever gonna release remake or anything like that, but this to me just is what Fallout 4 should have been. Crap. But as you can see, the lighting is beautiful. It has so many different weather effects because I'm combining this, and I've made sure, Jesus Christ, the overhaul damage is quite crazy. I've made sure that it works in tandem with True Storms, which it does, so you can have all of the weather effects from True Storms with Morbund World, so that does make a big difference. Jesus Christ. That is one thing that happens with original VATS, time-stopping VATS it's called, the mod, because it stops the slow motion. Sometimes if they are running at you, they kind of do like a little slide, because there's no way to, you know, work around it otherwise. But otherwise it works perfectly. Oh god, reload. Come on, come on. And there you go. And Gibs of Glory, I'll just show you this one gib, otherwise YouTube will definitely demonetize this. Basically it just adds the original gore factor in. Jesus Christ. And I just got one shot. Alright, so here we are in the metro system. One thing I love so much from Fallout 3 was the metro system, and I feel like they just could have utilized that so much better in Fallout 4, which they didn't. So basically now what this does, you can't actually see it on the map, but just imagine there's a whole nother map underneath all of this. So it goes all the way up here, all the way down to like the main city area. Basically all the metro systems actually work now. They aren't just like, you know, closed off Starfield like mini maps. They are literally interconnected metro systems that travel all across Boston and the wasteland, which is very, very cool. So yeah, it's very difficult though, because basically the modder overloaded the metro system with so many super mutants and feral ghouls. And speaking of feral ghouls, what's this we're seeing? Are those original ghouls? Wow, I think they are. They actually look like ghouls. They don't look like melted plastic cheese on an NPC anymore. Because I really just hate the art style of Fallout 4, I've got to be honest. But now, with this, you can have the classic feral ghouls. And there's something that really makes them truly classic. And I'm going to show you that right now, if we find some. So here they are. And as you can see, you can, you know, keep your distance with them, as you should be able to, because they are supposed to be fast, but in Fallout 4, they have this stupid lunging attack, which isn't fun. It just isn't a fun gameplay mechanic. They're supposed to be fast, but they're not supposed to be just spammy and annoying, and that's what Fallout 4 ghouls are. They are very incredibly annoying because they just jump at you the whole time, and I've never seen that with any of the other Fallout games. So with this one, like I said, I've removed that feature. It's a simple mod, basically just removes the jumping attacks from feral ghouls, but it makes them feel just like they did in Fallout 3, and that's what I'm trying to emulate here, is making Fallout 4 into Fallout 3 in 2025. And I think I did a pretty good job, if I do say so myself. So yeah, time-stopping vats, very reminiscent, and here we can see the beautiful detail of the models from the lovely Capital Wasteland team. that did point lookout. Jesus Christ, I'm gonna die. Okay, I should probably actually shoot them. Just try and get some distance. Okay. I mean, this is how you're supposed to use VATS, isn't it? This is how I always use VATS. And that just makes it much more of an RPG instead of a first-person shooter. There you go. So I really do love the original models. Yeah.
How do you find anything in here?
Also, if you want more realistic interior lights, basically there's a mod that I'll show at the end of the video, which basically does just that, which makes the lighting much more overhauled. The realistic damage mod that I'm using as well makes it much more realistic. So now everything isn't spongy. Like I said, you know, feral ghouls and stuff like that, you can just shoot them like just 1 or 2 times in the head and that's it. Headshot is deadly for most enemies, apart from super mutants and stuff, and that's how it should be. So yeah. Alright, so here we are at the entrance of the metro system. So normally this would be blocked off in base Fallout 4, but not with this wonderful mod that brings back the classic metro systems, so you can, you know, travel throughout and have that original experience, which I really like. Boom shakalaka. So let's head in, shall we? So here we are. Now we have loaded into the mod. So here we are in the metro system now, just like we were in Fallout 3. Oh, Jesus Christ. But like I said, the modder did go a little bit crazy by adding tons and tons of ghouls, super mutants, just like you would in Fallout 3, bandits and stuff like that. But for the most part, it works really well. Jesus, come on. There you go. Oh, we've got one still alive. Let's put him out of his misery, shall we? Voila. So it does bring back that classic Fallout 3 feel where you are running up and down the metro systems. And, you know, he did a good job of customizing it so each one feels distinct and unique, with bandit hideouts and super mutant hideouts, all that kind of stuff. And if you go to local map, you can see how it works. So it is literally long tunnel systems, and then they just keep feeding into each other until you get to a brand new location on the map. So like I said, he traveled all the way across Boston, and it isn't just metro, you know, tunnels. There is lots of variation. There's like radiation hotspots, you know, kind of crashed trains. There's crashed trains and stuff like that that you have to navigate. These long maze-like tunnels that we got in Fallout 3 are now back in Fallout 4, thanks to the use of beautiful mods. Jesus Christ. Uh-oh. One thing that you might have noticed is I am using enhanced... One thing you might have noticed, if I could just speak without getting attacked, is I am using the enhanced blood textures, so it does make it look a lot more realistic. But it's really nice just to see the classic ghouls back. I really do love it. And that's another thing, a small detail that you might have noticed, is there's a lot more particles with my weapons and stuff like that, and just a lot more particles in general, and that's thanks to a little useful mod that just increases particle effects, which make it look just a little bit more bombastic, but I like it. So now we're in Good Neighbor, and we're just going to take a look at some of the cities and how the texture packs, the 5 texture packs that I'm using, basically overhauls them and changes it. Also, thanks to True Storms and Morbund World, how it just gives it that classic Fallout feel. Basically, if you want Fallout 3 mods, if you want to transform Fallout 4 into Fallout 3 in 2025 using Fallout 4 2025 mods, basically what you need to do is keep it next gen, because they have finally patched it. You need to look for mods that support next gen, and then you can overhaul it with that base Bethesda texture pack, which does really make a big difference. A lot of people say that it doesn't, but that's because they are just, not really looking. It really does overhaul a lot of stuff, and then you can add, stuff to it. If you're using an older system, I understand, then maybe just downgrade, don't get the next gen update, but look for mods that support that version of Fallout. But it is finally working again, because it was broken for a long time. But if you want that Fallout 3 classic experience, there's a lot of Capital Wasteland mods. That's what it's called. That's how I have original dog meat. That's how I found the weapons, the clothing overhauls. And like I said, if you're looking for that road mod, I will go over it all at the end of the video, but it's called Very Zen Dark Roads. But as you can see, just the lighting overhaul from Morbund World with True Storms really does make a big difference, in my eyes anyway. I don't really want it to look, completely washed out and blown out with, an ENB. I still want to keep that classic kind of Fallout, kind of art style to it, but have better lighting, better shadows, more god rays, and more effects and stuff like that. And I feel like this does a really good job, especially with True Storms that just make radiation and stuff more deadly. And just the lighting overhaul makes it look much more vibrant, and you can see a lot more detail, like the fog, and like I said, all of the sunlight coming in with that kind of yellowy radioactive tinge, which I just think looks really awesome. So as you can see, holstered weapons really makes a big detail. I'm wearing another Fallout 3 armor here, and with holstered weapons, it just makes it all come to life, so you can actually see the weapons on your person with dog meat and all that good stuff. So the interiors just look a lot more nicer, I think, with that kind of lighting effect overhaul. So here we are out in the streets. True Storms with Morbund World does make things a lot darker, which I really like. And there you can see the damage overhaul system at work, where basically just one shot to the head will make a big difference compared to vanilla. There you go, I just landed one shot, so that's all it takes. And there you go, that is the live dismemberment feature in action. So I just literally took off his hand, which is quite crazy, and now he can't fight. And now he's running away. And he's in another classic Fallout 3 radar armor, and then just switch back to time-stopping vats. And I mean, you just you just get that wonderful Fallout 3 feel. And then with the RPG mechanics on top of it now, I really do think this is how to make Fallout 4 into Fallout 3 in 2025 with Fallout 4 mods. And then all the original Fallout aesthetic and art style on top of it just complements it, in my opinion. I mean, this looks like a proper wasteland to me. And the reason why I love Fallout so much is just the lore and the universe, the factions actually having their own different philosophies and all that stuff. I did a whole video on the philosophies of Fallout, the unique sci-fi aesthetic, this kind of futurism that we don't usually get to see. And okay, nice, here is a perfect opportunity to showcase the new Fallout 3 mutants, if I don't get destroyed, because they are still very deadly, even with this damage overhaul system, because they're supposed to be dangerous, obviously, super mutants. So whereas, like raiders, dogs, bugs, and all that kind of stuff will just get one shot, the super mutants are very, very dangerous, and that's just because they're supposed to be, an evolution of mankind. So of course they're going to have a lot more health and stuff to them. So I'm gonna have to pop a jet, I think, to take him out. Try and keep his face intact to showcase. So with the Super Mutant overhaul, basically what you get is the classic Super Mutants, because again, in Fallout 4 the art style was just off and they didn't really look how they are supposed to with the original art style. You know, with the bands across their mouths, which actually has lore reasons if you care. But with this one, you get the original Super Mutants with much higher textures and all that stuff. And you get different variations of them, like the Night King, and they just look much more like they did in Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3, which I just think looks a hell of a lot better compared to Fallout 4 and its art style. Alright, so there you have it. That is how to transform Fallout 4 into Fallout 3 in 2025 by using the magic of mods. Using the best Fallout 4 2025 mods, I think I did a really good job of overhauling the combat down to the art style and the weather effects and all that kind of stuff. So it really does make it feel like an original Fallout game, and what I wanted Fallout 4 to be from the very get-go. You know, with the use of time-stopping vats, more RPG mechanics, like having charisma actually affect, you know, like skill checks and stuff like that, and just the original vibes and aesthetic of that classic Fallout experience. I really do hope you enjoyed this video. I worked really hard on trying to make it as best as I could, and I will be making another video on all of the mods that I use to give you the best next-gen Fallout 4 2025 experience, so look out for that. So now let's quickly check the mod list, and thank you for watching. So here are some of the mods that I use on the Bethesda net, which is quite an easy install if you're on PC and you've updated it to the next gen update. So the Capital Wasteland mods really transform it into that Fallout 3 original feel. So you get the Raider Pack, Dog Meat, the weapons, and there's so many different ones that you can choose from. True Storms, like I said, Wasteland Edition really adds to the ambience and affects radiation. Natural Landscapes as a texture overhaul for the landscapes. Vivid Fallout as a base, along with the high texture pack with Fallout 4 by Bethesda. Fallout 3 Ghouls, Live Dismemberment. Subway Runners for that metro system inspired by Fallout 3. Interiors Enhanced for that lighting overhaul. Different weapon mods and enemy types. You can get the Institute Centaurs, or Centaurs? You can get the Institute Centaurs or the classic Fallout 3 one, whichever one you want. DC Super Mutants, like I said, that transform them into the original Super Mutants. Devastation, for that kind of dead look with the trees and landscape. Extreme Particles, and a more Capital Wasteland mods. And then this is the big one, Moribund World, which is a complete overhaul and makes it look like the original Fallout games. And of course the original Pip-Boy, time-stopping vats, and then very zen dark roads for that original Fallout look. DC Mole Rats, which I'll showcase in another video, which adds the original mole rats back in. And then Jibs of Glory for that original kind of you know, explosive effect that we would get in the original games. And then Falcon Oil as a kind of base for the textures for actual objects. Okay, so that is basically how you overhaul Fallout 4 into Fallout 3 in 2025. I do hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for my next Fallout 4 mod video. And yeah, make sure you're subscribed and give the video a like. I would appreciate it. Peace.